Hi, I'm Angie and welcome back. Today, I've been thinking about something that goes far beyond politics. It's about something that every one of us faces sooner or later. The possibility that the world has changed, but we haven't noticed. Or perhaps we have noticed and simply don't want to accept it. This week, Britain has been watching a political drama unfold, hasn't it? Andy Burnham has achieved what many people thought would be impossible. He has won in Makerfield, and suddenly people are asking whether he should replace Keir Starmer. Meanwhile, Sir Keir Starmer says he's not going anywhere. He says he will fight any challenge. And whether you support Labour or not, I don't think the most interesting question is political. I think the most interesting question is human. How do any of us know when it's time to let go? If you look back, history is full of people who stayed too long. Prime ministers, presidents, business leaders, football managers, company founders, even family members. Sometimes they leave far too early. Sometimes they stay far too long. The difficulty is that while you're living through it, you rarely know which one you are. But here are some uncomfortable truths. Confidence and delusion often look identical, at least in the beginning. Every successful person has had moments when others doubted them. If they had listened to everybody telling them to quit, they might never have achieved anything. But there comes a point where determination can become stubbornness, where resilience becomes refusal, where belief becomes denial. The challenge is knowing when you've crossed that line. And that line is usually invisible, at least to some people. I've often wondered why leaders find it so difficult. Take Maggie Thatcher, for example. Perhaps they remember who they used to be. They remember the victories, the applause, the achievements, the moment everyone believed in them. And perhaps part of them believes they can get back there again. We've all done it in our lives, holding on to an old version of ourselves, an old relationship, an old dream, an old way of thinking, long after reality has moved on. I've likened it to the mirror that nobody wants, because I think one of the hardest things in life is recognising that the world is giving us information we don't want to hear. A business losing customers, a marriage becoming distant, friends drifting away, a political leader becoming unpopular. Sometimes the signs arrive gradually, and they're so gradual that we hardly notice them, until suddenly everybody else can see what we cannot. Looking back at my own life at 76, I've learned something. The older I get, the more I realise that wisdom isn't about being right. It's about being willing to ask, what if I'm wrong? That's a difficult question, because our pride hates it. Our ego hates it. But growth depends upon it. I don't know what will happen. Perhaps Starmer will survive. Perhaps he will prove everyone wrong. Perhaps Burnham's moment will come. Perhaps it won't. Politics is unpredictable, but that's not really the point. The point is that their story reflects something universal, something that happens in families, in workplaces, in friendships, and inside our own minds. And maybe the real question isn't Should Starmer resign? Maybe the deeper question is, how do any of us know when it's time to change direction? How do we distinguish courage from stubbornness, persistence from denial? I don't know if there's a perfect answer, but I suspect it begins with humility, the willingness to listen, and the willingness to question ourselves. And perhaps most importantly, the willingness to accept that sometimes letting go is not failure. Sometimes it's wisdom. What do you think? Have you ever experienced a time in your own life when you realised you were holding on to something that no longer worked? And how did you know it was time to change? Because I have a feeling this isn't really a story about politicians. No, I think it's a story about all of us. I'm Angie, and these are my thoughts today. But I would love to hear what your thoughts are. And if you'd like to receive my next story, perhaps you'd like to subscribe and like this video and share it with someone else who might find it useful. In the meantime, have a lovely day, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.